So you were in the headlines recently for speaking out about, you know, when the whole Am I Next thing was happening and GBV, etc.
Yeah.
About speaking about an ex of yours. And you've said you don't regret any of that at all.
Yeah.
You don't?
What? Speaking out about it?
Speaking about your experience.
I share from my experiences because they're my experiences. They're my lived experiences. I have control of them. I don't have a PR person saying, okay, let's formulate the story and this is how we're gonna position you. Because also, I am a student of Oprah Winfrey. She owns her story. So you can't come to her and say, oh, I heard you were raped when you were 5. She told you that. So, but that frees someone who was raped when they were 5. When I say I know what it's like to be a 25-year-old young woman in a toxic relationship with someone famous, I know. So a girl who's 25 who might be in a toxic relationship with someone who's not necessarily famous because they're on radio and television, but they're famous on Twitter, they're famous in their clique in the North, they're part of the North God clique, they're celebrated, but nobody believes them when they say that guy, as cool as they are, they're toxic, or both of you have been toxic to each other. I've spoken about those things because I knew that it enabled others to talk about it. I know that it heals other people who might be going through similar experiences. It's not about the next person. I like that Janet Jackson song, that you're so vain you think it's about you. It's my healing, it's my story, and it's my story to tell. And victims in all sorts of experiences, there's, especially when you have a public profile, everybody wants to shape how you must look prim and proper and perfect. And unfortunately, I don't come from that. I come from the rurals, I come from the township. I'm hip hop, I'm a little bit of kwaito.
So, how many women supported you through that experience?
Oh, a lot. A lot. I mean, initially, I didn't think so. I actually thought a lot of people are not going to say anything. A lot of people DM'd me, a lot of people called me, a lot of people checked if I'm okay. And again, I think because I'm always fighting for other people, it took me back. I was like, and then I was like, oh my God, am I in trouble? Because initially, I didn't think I was in trouble. I just thought, hey, things happen to young women. And there are things that I've wanted to talk about that I couldn't go into detail, in the past. But I think this year, most probably, there's been a lot of gruesome things happening, to our women, especially young women. And the thing is, pal, these experiences that happen to you in your teens and in your 20s, they shift your spirit and the kind of woman that you become. The worst thing is to think that you went through that experience all by yourself. And then you hear that other people have gone through it, It's affirming, it's healing, and it's necessary.
So
I'm sorry about that, because you're like, oh, that's a lot. Yeah.
No, obviously not in a bad way.
Yeah.
I'm just like, because there's a lot I haven't said,
And you can say it when you're ready.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And obviously the time comes, and I have other questions, but I mean I feel like to delve into those questions will take away from what you're actually saying now. Like I want to be like, how long was it? What advice do you have for girls? What are the signs? You know what I mean? But people can kind of Google that stuff now about what are the signs of abusive relationship. In fact, tweet her, because I want to talk about other stuff now. Please tweet her. What's your Twitter handle again?
It's my name, Penny Lebyane. Everywhere,
Twitter,
Facebook,
signs
Instagram,
of
Twitter.
abusive relationships, or signs that you should get out of a relationship, or...
And also, you know what, for the longest time, and I think because I work in the space of mental health, is that we have been very naive about psychological and emotional abuse. It's like you're just being dramatic. I mean, why are you making a big deal out of that? Emotional abuse is abuse. Some abuses, it's not physical, and I'm not saying the other abuse is better than the other. Sometimes when you have a scar, it's like when your child falls and then there's a scar, you can point at that and you can put ointment on it and heal. What do you do with something that's happened to your spirit and your psyche? That's healing, that's also required, because it takes you to other places. You ask yourself, what happened to me? What was wrong with me? How do I fix this? How do I do it right for the next time? Then you are anxious, and then you go into other relationships questioning, like a lot of other things. And that takes work.
So you've spent time in a psychiatric ward?
Yeah, 10 days.
that's hectic, okay? My first thought was, where were her friends before? Like, what? Why didn't they see? Like, your gang, you know, where were they? Did you not let them in to see or help heal you or before it got so bad?
So I work in media. I've known how to just keep it together when it matters. So I can sit here, smile with you, go on air for 3 hours, do a kick-ass show, leave, go to my house, shut the door, gone for the weekend until I appear on Monday. Except my
What
mother.
is happening during the weekend?
I'm just chilling at my house, doing nothing, crying my eyeballs off and doing nothing, not waking up, not eating, whatever. You will never know. And on Monday, I can wash and wake up and come to work like nothing happened.
Babe, that's not okay.
Yeah, that's how not okay it is. You know, but you know what's worse? Is if you think you're friends and nobody's looking for you. Nobody's looking for you the entire weekend except your mother, who comes at your house and opens your fridge and says, everything in this house is rotten. When last did you eat?
Who helped you? Who helped you get out of it? Who, apart from your mom, what was your support system?
When I work, I work. Like, you know, I don't have a big clique of friends.
There's a friend of yours watching right now being like, wow.
Yeah, I have a very small, you know, and I think I've always been like that. You know, I don't roll with a gang. I can show up alone in places, and I've showed up alone. So it's like, if we see her, we see her. Some people call, and others don't. But I can be a very private person. You know.
Are you hiding or are you private? There's a difference. Being private kind of means like you're socially awkward, but you're definitely not socially awkward.
I'm not, well, because of my work. When I have to show up, I have to show up. But it doesn't mean that I'm always at a party, it's popping, everybody knows my next move. Nobody knows I'm here right now, except the ones that I told. I can, and now in the age of social media, it's worse because people see on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, you know, you can post pictures from 2 months ago and everything looks perfect. Back then, it's even worse. You saw me in the morning, I did the show, and then I was gone, and I'm back the next day. That's at work, if you're my friend at work. And then if we're not going clubbing and I'm not doing anything with you, why are we hooking up? I like my own space.
I don't know. You know, I proudly have a therapist.
Okay.
And I suggest everyone has. Do you have, like, how often do you go to therapy after, especially after your episode?
So I did go to therapy, you know, in my early days before I had my kids. And I think after, obviously, after I had my son, after I was 10 days and I did therapy, and I just had to readjust my life. And then I have had a lady who, you know, I don't really have sessions per se with her. And Gail Masondo. She is Jonathan from Liquid Deep's mom.
Yes.
I met her when I was 18. You know, at the time, I didn't even understand what was going on with me. She just was those people in my life who were constantly there. I remember when I was on Idols, and she called me and she says, I just saw you on TV. This is supposed to be the happiest time of your life. You look so unhappy on that show. What is going on? And I wasn't talking to her at the time. And then that was like calls for a session. So she's always like, you know, keep me in check.
For you.
Yeah, looked out for me. She's been a great, yeah.
So there was a moment that, what?
I always laugh because there's always this moment.
There was a moment, no, because I think these things through before I come here.
Yeah.
For me, because we spoke to Entle, right?
Yes.
And I was like a little bit like, this lady, what's happening? Why? Because I felt for her so much.
Yeah.
Right? Do you, I don't think you do, but for the sake of asking, do you regret putting that tweet out? It was a mess when, you know, when her show came out and DJ Zintle was on the show, whom of course I adore, etc.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a silly question, but it's important because there's a bigger conversation for me around it.
Yeah, okay. So, I don't regret it. I'm Penny, I'm big sis. You know, I'm not a fan. I love her. She's my little sister who her mother is my friend.
Kana, yes.
Yeah.
She's also been in the industry for years.
I think we give men too much power. And I think sometimes we need to not just talk about them. And I just felt two amazing girls who have a great conversation and whatever, you know, and which is necessary. And I think those boys didn't deserve to be, and I call them boys, they didn't deserve to get that moment.
Anyway, would you ever write a Tello book, like no bars held back, like holding nothing back? Would you ever?
Hey guys, I probably will, I don't know, yeah. Look, this book thing has been bubbling under. You know what my thing has always been? I never wanted to write a book from a place of anger or
That's a very important point, yeah.
So, and I needed to heal, grow, understand, make sense, you know, look back, you know, So I've been writing my life story throughout.
You know, I don't like this question, but I know that the viewers like this question.
Yeah?
So I feel compelled to then ask it because I'm at a place where I don't think this question should be important to me.
Okay.
Which is about marriage. You've mentioned that you still dream of getting married. Have you met anyone? Right after we discuss how men ain't nothing.
Do I still dream of getting married?
Do you?
Look, if I meet someone who wants to
do the things,
why not? But I mean, we're not racing for it. Like, I'm not meeting the guy that I'm meeting, and that's the question. I mean, I used to ask that, what is this? Where are we going? We're gonna get married. Because, you know, people wasting your time is just unnecessary. But now, I think, you know, just commitment, a purposeful relationship that's built on good values. I think I'm good with that.
Okay.
You know, I'm not losing my mind over a white dress.
Last but not least, there's so much more, but it's gay. Yeah. So what does the future hold for Penny? And there's a lot that's happened in Penny's life, so much that you've achieved, so much you've done for other people. You even had a foundation at some stage. I think you probably still do. My question to you is, what is next? What can people look forward to?
I think it's to consolidate this journey of, you know, being a young woman to a space of maturity and building a legacy that I am proud of. I think I kind of like slow down so I can manage my kids for the last 10 years or so. My son is going to high school. I'm gonna have a little bit of my time to myself. My daughter is 10. I feel like, you know, I can put a lot of energy back into my career.
Guys, this is behind the story with none other than Penny. Thank you so much for joining us. I don't take this for granted. I really appreciate it. You've held nothing back, and you've been very kind. And I wish you nothing but the best going forward, and I know that you're gonna rise, like, from strength to strength. I think you're one of those people in the industry, like, I would bet on to be like, yeah, you can see her down, but don't count her out. Like,